What I think about though is like, and I don't even know if this is necessarily rational or irrational, but I never want to live in the world of what if, you know what I mean? Like, and we all will have some what ifs, I always think, well, what if I had changed my major to this? What if I had moved to this city? I mean, that's inevitable, but especially when it comes to things that we are definitely passionate about, that we're intrinsically motivated towards. I think we want to, like, my thought is, yeah, I've had major injuries. I may get more major injuries, but if I'm not going to pursue what I'm passionate about, what am I even doing? You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of almost, you call it a kamikaze mindset. You know what I mean? Like, I may just go down in flames, but that's living. You know what I mean? If I'm just going through the day to day and not pursuing what I love and what I'm passionate about, with reckless abandon, so to speak, am I really alive? I don't know. It seems so. That's kind of, you can say it's irrational, and that's where like it's purposeful irrationality. You know what I mean? Because like kamikazes, I mean, you're flying a plane into your own death. That can't be rational, but I don't know. I mean, sometimes we gotta just go for it.
For you personally, when you got into powerlifting, a lot of lifters, like you mentioned, wrestling, you just loved it. Right?
Yeah.
Even though you knew at a certain point you're not going to be the best, that you just love, not like you want to not be able to be controlled by somebody else.
Yeah.
With powerlifting, obviously you're one of the best. Was that your intention getting into it? Did you kind of see, I have these advantages, I can move here, or did you just love the sport?
Definitely the latter. It was the love. I mean, same with the wrestling. I got into it. It was very individual and it was very personal in the sense of, I want to be able to not be controlled, and I want to be able to do the controlling if I have to. Same with lifting. It's like, I want to be as strong as I can. And that, I remember going to my first meet thinking, I might come in last place, but if I perform to my best, then I win, and so that's the way it's always been. It wasn't until a couple of years in that even like records was a concept for me, a possibility. And I think that's important. It's always, we got to stay intrinsically motivated, you know what I mean? Because psychology 101 will say, worry about what you can control, not what you can't. And so I can't control what Larry Williams is going to do, what Kevin Oak's going to do. And those guys are my friends. I mean, I love those guys and they motivate me, but I can control what Andrew Herbert does. And so I'm going to worry about that. And it's improving myself. That's one other thing I love about powerlifting as opposed to a lot of other sports is it is yourself. Your opponent is yourself. When I was wrestling, I still loved the accountability aspect. It's just you on the mat. You can't blame the team. You can't blame the coach. You can't blame anything like that. But still, it's dependent on the other person. It's dependent on your opponent, which is beyond your control. So, I always just thought about it's how it made me feel, but what I wanted to do with myself. And yeah.
You seem kind of like a outwardly, seeing you compete several times now, you seem like kind of an aw shucks kind of guy on the outside.
Yeah.
What's going on the inside though? Like when you miss a weight, are you MF this and that, lighting shit on fire, going crazy?
Yeah. Well, I'll be frank here, and it may not be the most cheerful thing, but I've over most of my life become good at putting on a facade. I think I might be a decent actor because I from a very young age I definitely was, you could say, endowed with more anger than I think most people have. And you could ask my dad and my parents about that. I mean, I was, a wilder kid. I've always had a lot of anger and stuff like that, but I've channeled it, and that's where I think wrestling, lifting has been great for me. But, those things are still inside, and I'm hard on myself. I know that, which is both a good and a bad thing. But I'm big on turning things inward. You know what I mean? Like I don't discourage people from expressing their feelings. I think that's very important. I encourage people to do that. I think it's healthy, but I don't know. I've always hated the thought of being a complainer or of being a burden to other people, or
sore sport, like you kick something because you missed a squat or something. It just outwardly looks completely ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
But you might think that in your head, like I feel like kicking something.
Exactly. And I may, once I'm by myself, right, lose it a little bit. But in the presence of other people, I like to, keep that composure for sure.